and welcome to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast from good friends who are deeply obsessed with movies as well as their physical media collections. That means Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs. We're here every week talking about the latest announcements, the newest releases, and recommending movies. My name is Kurt.
And I'm Sam.
And I'm Bobby.
We're also joined by our fabulous producer, Kimberly. Good evening, Kimberly.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about the brand new 4K release from Sony Pictures of a little movie from 1989 called Steel Magnolias. We have timed this for Mother's Day.
Hell yeah, happy Mom's Day.
Happy moms.
And I want to pose a little challenge here.
Oh.
Mostly for you and me, Sam, and Kimberly. My mom listened to our episode of The Departed and was, I think there were a little too many F words in that episode for her. So as a gift to my mom, who's going to hear this, we're going to try to make this a F word free episode of Physical Therapy.
Molly, I apologize in advance. I'm going to try my hardest.
We'll put a timestamp in the description of this episode if you want to jump right to Steel Magnolias. But first, how was everybody's week? What movies did you watch?
I watched a bunch. I did 4 movies in 4 different theaters in 2 days.
I'm going to guess what you saw in the theater.
All right.
Can I guess too?
Yes.
Do you want to alternate?
Yeah, you first, Kurt.
One is not new.
One is not new. I won't guess that one. I'm going to guess the 3 new ones you saw.
Okay.
Bobby and I are going to guess the 3 new ones you saw. My first guess is Fall Guy.
No.
My guess was Challengers.
Nope.
Huh?
Evil Does Not Exist.
I don't know what that is.
Okay,
No.
what did you see?
I almost saw that, Kurt.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, well, I love Drive My Car, so I'm jazzed.
Yeah, I just read about that.
Same director?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What'd you see, Sam?
I saw Boy Kills World, that
Oh.
new Bill Skarsgård movie.
Yeah.
That movie sucks, dude.
Oh.
That movie is a pile of steaming trash.
Why?
It thinks it's way funnier and smarter than it actually is. The action scenes are bad and it's not shot well. It's ugly to look at. It was the first movie I almost walked out of in a very long time.
Damn.
So then the same day I did Allison's Birthday, which is the not new movie that I saw from 1981. I loved this movie. It's an Australian thriller that's kind of close to Rosemary's Baby. It's in that incredible Severin folk horror box set.
Right. Bobby, do you have that box set? What's it called, Sam?
All the Haunts Be Ours.
Oh, I've seen it, but I didn't recognize any of the titles. I'll have to, now that you're flagging it, I'm going to look it up.
It's like a 20-some disc box set from Severin folk horror films.
From around the world.
From around the world, yeah.
I'm reading it and I'm just like, all of this? I want to consume all of this as quickly as possible.
It's a beautiful set. I don't have it, but it's a...
Oh, I thought both of you had it.
No, I don't. It's been on my wish list forever.
Wait, you have it, Kurt?
Yeah.
Do you recommend it?
I don't know. I've never opened it.
What?
It's just in the shame pile, you know? It's like, it's a leading character in the shame pile, to be honest with you.
Well,
it's like one I look at and I go,
movies.
whoa, I'm never going to watch these.
Why don't we... I just feel like Sam could make a pilgrimage to your apartment and I drive across town and you open that baby with us and we dive deep into folk horror.
That'd be great.
A live pod that is like 3 days long. Yeah.
Oh, God. I got to leave.
Let's do
I
it.
can't be here.
Kim has to... No, not care for us, but just safeguard.
Care.
Just like make sure we don't descend.
Make sure we don't burn each other at the stake.
Yeah, it's more just a chaperone at that point.
Yeah.
And then also in theaters, I saw Civil War and Abigail.
How was Abigail?
It's like 12 minutes too long.
Oh, is it funny?
Yes, it is funny. I laughed a lot. The cast is really great. Yeah, other than it being like slightly too long, I had a really enjoyable time with it.
Sam, we offlined a little bit about Civil War. Have you seen that, Bobby?
I did.
What'd you think?
As Alex Garland wanted, I am still thinking about it in a way sometimes his movies do, but not to this extent. And I thought Kirsten Dunst was amazing, and it shocked me in various ways. So yeah, I liked it. What did you think?
I thought it was effective. I didn't really buy like Texas and California have like teamed up to like.
I didn't either, but also I went to the bathroom when that moment happened.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I sort of suspended that expectation, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. In retrospect, I'm like, why would they have chosen that alliance and what? Yeah.
I also felt like it kind of meandered in the second act a little bit. The introduction of like the other journalists like in the pickup truck, that felt a little calculated and
Yeah.
It felt calculated, and there could have been honestly a deeper way of connecting that intersection that would have made that particular payoff more disturbing and effective.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like that truck stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, we need 2.5 minutes to explain why these characters are in this other situation that is, the stakes are very high and they are very serious. And somehow it went there. And I was like, I don't understand why those characters made those choices or why it escalated the way it did. So that was my issue.
The Jesse Plemons stuff is effective.
Yeah. It was the first time I feel like I was that affected by a movie in the theater in a long time.
I agree.
I also hated the ending without spoiling it.
Oh, sure.
Not the very, very ending, but like the kind of hallway stuff I thought was absolutely
Me too.
like
silly.
Absolutely silly.
Yeah.
It was like a disservice to really very good performances.
Mm-hmm.
After we recorded last week, I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the next generation, the new generation, excuse me. It's not a good movie. The Matthew McConaughey performance is insane in an awesome way.
Wow.
In an awesome way.
Who does he play, like, generally? Like, what kind of character?
One of the cannibal family members who's like brothers with Leatherface.
Oh, wow.
And the Leatherface design in this movie is atrocious. It's so ugly.
It's so ugly to begin with. To think of it getting it's so much uglier
wild.
is so
It's wild.
frightening.
Is Dennis Hopper in a Texas Chainsaw 2?
Part 2, yeah. That's also directed by Tobe Hooper.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that's like kind of like a full-on wild comedy.
Got it. Sam, how did you watch Texas Chainsaw 4?
So I'd gotten the Scream Factory Blu-ray. Actually, I just like made a specific order for that because we had talked about Matthew McConaughey on the show at one point. And so I was like, you know what? Now's the time.
Bobby, what did you see this week?
I did well. I saw Challengers and I saw the TV glowing.
Ooh,
I want to see that.
Bobby's eyebrows are going up and down.
Did you like it?
Both those movies this week I saw and was very excited about movie going for the rest of the year.
Whoa.
They knocked me over in ways I had hoped, but had no idea how they would. So if you haven't seen either, go see whatever you can.
We saw Challengers.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it next week.
And then after I saw the TV glow and didn't know anything about it, it was playing close by. I saw that it was a horror movie, PG-13, A24, got good reviews. I went totally blown away.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
And I don't want to oversell it, but I also don't want to describe it because I knew nothing about it. It's just going to be a different experience that you'll appreciate.
Ooh, I love it.
Go see it.
Anything on physical media, Bobby?
Yes. This is where I got in trouble. So I finished the book, Sophie's Choice. So then I watched the movie, went very deep into Meryl Streep. I own every single movie that is attainable on physical media of Meryl Streep's.
Wow, that must be so many movies.
Oh, yeah. You know, going into the garage and pulling through because so much of her stuff is just DVD.
Did you take one trip or two?
This is like a whole morning of pilgrimages, because it requires different
hours.
And I was smart actually, because this last time you ask how I categorize my movies, and like Meryl Streep, so many of her movies I only have because she's in them, so I can keep them all together, which makes categorization really easy. So it was fun. And then there's like the gaping holes of things where it's like, oh, don't look up. I don't want to spoil a wish list, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, that Netflix physical media would be fun. Too bad it's Netflix, because like that's not a Criterion release. But Meryl Streep is so good, and I want to have that in the same way I have
Yeah.
Julia and Julie, or vice versa, whatever. I want that in my hands.
We watched a 4K second sight Blu-ray of The Guest.
Oh, hell yeah. Damn, you bought that?
Yeah.
Wait, The Guest is
With Dan Stevens.
yeah, I loved that movie.
Yeah, me too. I thought you didn't like that movie.
Oh, I loved it this time. The first time I watched it by myself, and like I don't think I was making space for how funny it is.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's so funny. Yeah.
It's great, man.
It's also kind of upsetting.
Oh yeah, it's horrifying.
How is this thing invading our space so uncannily? It's really scary.
The Guest is a movie about a family whose son has been killed in the military, and it opens with that son's mother home alone, and there's a knock on the door, and she opens it to find a stranger her son's age who basically introduces himself as having served alongside her late son. He was with him when he died. They were close friends, and he slowly comes to kind of like live with the family and invade their lives a little bit, and may or may not be who he says he is. And it's kind of a horror comedy, I guess, but it's pretty gnarly.
It's great.
And he's ripped.
Yeah, he got big for that movie.
He looks good. He trimmed a lot from Downton Abbey. Let's just say that.
Well, he's in Abigail. Dan Stevens is in Abigail.
Wait, that's another reason why I wanted to see the movie too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay.
Is the tone of the movie similar?
I would say they're both like thrillers that have like good comedic timing and pretty fun scripts.
Radio Silence directed it, right?
It's two of the three guys of Radio Silence.
Okay. Radio Silence directed the last couple Scream films, if people aren't aware.
And did Ready or Not, which people really like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And the screams are good too, but it's hanging in the balance now because the stars backed out, or it's still happening.
They are not involved anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
And
they
neither
dropped.
is, Jenna Ortega's out.
But a sequel's moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Williamson's directing it, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's fun. I also, after we did our Departed episode, watched the 4Ks of Hugo and Shutter Island right afterward, and had a really nice time with Hugo. I hadn't seen that since the theater. There's some stuff I think you could lose from Hugo, but it's a really sweet film, and a real kind of fun look at, the early silent first films, really.
Yeah.
Georges Méliès.
Had you seen it before?
I had in the theater, yeah. Maybe in 3D, honestly.
Whoa.
It was one of those successful 3D movies.
For sure. And when you watch it in 2D, it's one of those movies where you're like, oh yeah, this was supposed to be in 3D.
But
Like,
it
there's
still has a style that doesn't look dated or out of format still. I think it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
Kurt, did you get the Arrow version of it?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Nice.
Isn't it great?
It's great.
I just got the Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is spectacular.
And Shutter Island.
I got to rewatch that.
Yeah, it had been a minute since I'd seen that. I've seen that many times, but it's really good. Shutter Island.
Yeah.
It's haunting.
It's haunting. The music is so amazing in Shutter Island, and
Who scored it? Do you know?
I don't even know, because so much of it is source music.
I feel like it's like
cool.
Howard Shore or someone like...
He did Departed.
Let's just look. We have Google.
Robbie Robertson.
Oh,
Yeah. Shit. Robbie
okay.
Robertson?
Okay.
Hell yeah.
From the band.
Yeah.
The late, great Robbie Robertson.
Who also did Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah.
Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
For me, it's less I can't be too invested in the making sense of the plot or if there are holes, but the visuals in that movie and how he has the truth unfold through these surreal, very beautifully composed shots, I think is a masterstroke in his career.
Yeah, it's very surreal, very like dreamlike, a lot of the sequences, and cinematic in a really fun way.
Yeah.
It's fun to see Scorsese like have the freedom to go extra strange, you know.
Mhm.
Fantastical even.
Mm-hmm. Both those titles, honestly, the CGI is dated, unfortunately.
Sure.
Hugo more so.
Damn.
There's more of it in Hugo, but even Shutter Island, there's some stuff where it's like, oh.
The Shutter Island's not a boutique label, is it?
No.
Paramount put it out like, oh, I actually have it for some reason. 2 years ago it came out or something.
I got to get that.
It's a great disc.
It's great. I got it because it's just beautiful. And
Yeah, and I don't own it yet.
I hadn't either, so.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say too much about it if people haven't seen Shutter Island, but it's a fun movie to see twice if you haven't seen it twice.
And such a great cast.
Oh, yeah.
Like a loaded cast with you got Michelle Williams and Patricia Clarkson and Ben Kingsley and
Emily Mortimer.
Oh, yeah.
And
Ruffalo, my God.
Max von Sydow.
Oh, yeah.
And Ted Levine and Jackie Earle Haley. And
that's right. That's right.
And on and on. Some crossover with Hugo, too. Bobby, we also watched Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
What'd you think?
Oh, I loved it.
Fantastic.
It's really funny. There was more to it than I thought, too. Like when you described it on the show, I think I was expecting the last half an hour even like the last 15 minutes, honestly, to be the movie. But there's like a lot of like really interesting relationship kind of comedy drama stuff happening throughout it. Dynamics change. Like it's cool.
And you get to this moment that the movie poster, trailer, whatever could have teased it. They're all in bed together, the four of them.
Yeah.
And you get there and you're like, oh, it's also not like that controversial or like it's sweet. It's kind of
it's very sweet,
tender, and it's transcendent, which I think is where then how it moves into that last movement with the song.
Loved the ending. Yeah, like you said, great use of the song. The World Needs Love. Just beautiful.
It's amazing.
But Kurt, you sent me a picture of that.
Bobby wished for this one to be on Blu-ray or be on Criterion, I think. And I found on eBay that you can still get the Twilight Time version of the Blu-ray for pretty, normal price. And they have many of them on there. So I scooped it from there and sent Bobby a picture.
And then within the next half hour, also found the one on eBay I wanted and got it. This seller, man, I got it within like overnight shipping. Wow. And it came and it was beautifully shipped. It was sealed. It was like no one had ever touched it before. And I watched it too. And it's such a treat. I love that movie. Diane Carroll and Natalie Wood. What a beautiful flippin' woman. And she's so funny.
She's amazing. She's amazing. Natalie Wood on Blu-ray is a fantastic experience.
Yeah. Ideal.
Bobby, you may have seen this on our Instagram, but we have not talked about this. But because of you, I bought 2 DVDs. And I haven't bought a DVD and, no shade to DVDs, but I watch pretty much all of these movies on like a 100-inch screen, like a projector screen. And DVDs tend to not look that good, that big. So I don't really get them, but I was at Amoeba and I found sealed copies of The Hours and In the Bedroom, and I bought them both.
Okay, I was eyeing that In the Bedroom one. The Hours, you could have told me. I have dozens of copies in my garage and they're all sealed. And there was a period of time where I was like at Barnes & Noble and I was like, at some point, I'm going to need to give this to someone. And so I would just buy them or siphon them away or like pick them up wherever. But I'm glad you got a sealed copy too.
It was only $2.99.
Oh, so, God, they made so many.
Not that big of a deal. So I'm excited to watch both of those, but I thought you'd appreciate that, Bobby. You've converted me.
Sometimes you just have to seize the moment.
Okay, some quick announcements from this past week. Boy, oh boy, guys, Twister in 4K is coming out. We're doing that on the show.
Hell yeah.
Buckle up.
But only a steelbook thus far, right?
Unfortunately, only a steelbook.
Pass.
Yeah, when will they learn?
That could change, but as of now, it's only a steelbook. Bobby, are you a fan of Jan de Bont's film Twister?
Okay. Yeah. The director of Twister and The Haunting.
And Speed.
Well, I know.
Also shot Die Hard.
And shot Die Hard. Yeah, I know Jan de Bont. A big part of my childhood was learning that it was not a female director named Jan. And that I was, for a while, I thought all these action films were like
if only
feminist-led, visions. But then it was like a VHS of The Haunting that had a behind-the-scenes featurette that included none other than Jan de Bont. And I learned a lot about just how things are pronounced and different names transcend cultures in different ways and language,
Chan.
pronunciation, gender. So yeah, I know and love Jan de Bont.
Yo, is The Haunting tight?
Parts, but only a few.
Is that the one where a piano string breaks and like slits somebody's throat?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Parts of it are actually quite solid.
I saw it in theaters and it scared the pants off me, we'll say it that way.
Definitely.
It's a pretty literal adaptation, too, of The Haunting of Hill House, but like kind of bad. And also Lily Taylor, I don't know how you feel about her as like, but Liam Neeson's in it, you know, like Owen Wilson, for God's sake.
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones, like, I think it did get like a...
I think there's a 4K of it, like a screen 4K,
damn.
isn't there?
Yeah.
Really?
Not a screen. I think Paramount put it out as like part of their select series that Terms of Endearment is part of now. And no, I
don't think so. The same one as Primal Fear?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Damn. If so.
No, it's Shout.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is. You're so right. I'm so sorry to mansplain you.
5 out of 5 video review on Blu-ray.com for The Haunting.
Wow.
I might actually invest in this.
Oh, yeah. If you think that I won't have ordered The Haunting by the time I fall asleep, you're out of your mind.
Get our listeners to weigh in. Do we buy The Haunting?
Well, you guys have already bought it, but like in 10 seconds.
Well, no,
so.
stop me.
You're right. I just blinked at my phone and I ordered The Haunting.
Alexa, order The Haunting 4K Shout for tomorrow. Oh, yeah.
DM us if you want to buy our used copy of The Haunting after we watch it and regret buying it. Kino announced, I'm not sure if this was a new announcement, but they've dated Brokeback Mountain in 4K, which I'm really excited to get. I feel like that's going to look beautiful. And there was a bunch of stuff from Shout and Scream Factory. The one I'm most excited for is finally a 4K of Ridley Scott's House of Gucci.
I saw that.
They didn't do that initially with...
Not in the US.
Huh.
I think there's a foreign 4K of it, but yeah, this is the first US release of it on 4K.
Well, thank God they got around to it.
Thank God.
Jared Leto in a fat suit. I want to be free, like a pigeon.
I only actually saw that on a screener.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Him and I watched it on like a DVD screener. And it's so beautiful looking. Like you can tell we really did not do it justice. So I'm excited to see that.
It's going to blow your mind, probably.
It's going to blow my mind. They announced Phantoms in 4K. Grind, what's up with Phantoms?
I watched that during lockdown. It was one of those movies that like 40 minutes in, I was like, yo, was Phantoms awesome? And then like 50 minutes in, I was like, oh, no, it isn't at all.
It just reminds me of Jay and Silent Bob when they say Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms. All right, we all have a glass of wine. Grab some tissues. We are talking about Sony Pictures' brand new 4K release of 1989's Steel Magnolias. This film stars Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, Olympia Dukakis, and in her second film of all time, Julia Roberts.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Did you say Dolly Parton?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
God, Dolly Parton rules.
Dude.
We'll get to that.
National treasure.
Truly.
Absolutely rules in this movie. A warning that we are going to get into spoilers as we talk about Steel Magnolias. So if you haven't seen the film and you're interested, go check it out and come back and find us. Bobby, once upon a time on this podcast, you told us that you grew up taking road trips with a VCR TV combo in the backseat of the minivan with your sisters, and you would watch this film. Can you tell us about your history with Steel Magnolias?
Of course. Well, you have to understand, Kurt. It was part of a rotation that included Runaway Bride, My Best Friend's Wedding. Like,
okay.
we were a Julia Roberts household. So Steel Magnolias was like part of that education. So we loved it as kids. We would reenact the scene with the juice where they get sell me the juice. God. So like we would like every time we needed to get orange juice out of the refrigerator, we would like pretend it was an emergency.
The most haunting scene.
I'm just cutting to the chase. Like, this is how deep Steel Magnolias got. in my life, in my upbringing. I mean, this was a gateway drug in so many ways to other movies. Like, this was part of a universe of very early movie consumption that had stars like Daryl Hannah and Sally Field. All these women were in other movies that we were watching or wanted to watch. Mrs. Doubtfire, Roxanne, like Julia Roberts. Like, it tied into everything else. And so to watch them all together deal with these real dramatic and heart-centered situations that involved family members, like, of course, this is a tearjerker. Of course, this is a real cornerstone of the chick flick genre. Don't you think?
Absolutely. This movie, we should say, is about a group of women, friends, and some family living in Louisiana, and it centers mostly around Julia Roberts' character, who's getting married, and her relationship with her mother, played by Sally Field.
And she has diabetes.
Julia Roberts' character has diabetes and has been advised that she should avoid having children for her own sort of health safety, but chooses otherwise.
Y'all.
It's based on a play by Robert Harling, which is very much an autobiographical sort of story about his relationship with his sister.
Wow. I can't imagine a man being part of that movie at all.
It's all men.
I know.
That's part of the issue with this movie, dude.
Sam had a lot to say. He was like bubbling up and we didn't let him. What do you want to say, Sam, about this movie? He said y'all, and we were like, no, we're still talking about the women.
I don't know what movie y'all watch. Like, I understand that I am not the intended audience for Steel Magnolias, and I understand that, but that was one of the worst viewing experiences of my life.
Wow.
I hated that movie.
You'd never seen it?
No, I had seen a couple scenes just like through network television from being a kid, because I feel like it aired all the time.
Totally. That's how we started getting obsessed with it.
I don't even know where to start. I was very happy that I did not buy the 4K and I just paid to rent it online.
God, me too. I watched the DVD and I was like, thank God I didn't buy this for $39.99.
The 4K is gorgeous.
I bet the colors are spectacular.
It's gorgeous. This movie is shot by John Alonzo, who shot Chinatown.
Cool. Chinatown's a much better movie. I don't know. Like, I did not find this movie funny. I did not find it charming. I did not find it interesting to watch. I found the characters or lack thereof to be I'm like, oh, so women just get together and they just only talk about men all the time. That's cool. That's good to know.
Does this movie pass the Bechdel test?
It barely, dude. I was paying attention to that, and it passes it at like the 1 hour and 30-minte mark.
That's incidental, though. You know, there's so much interaction between. There's so many women in every frame. There's a chance. So the fact that it lasted an hour and whatever is shameful.
I was mesmerized by how dumb this movie was.
Wow.
I was just like, and who cares? Who cares?
What about Selby?
It's Shelby A.
Shelby.
What is Sally Field's name? Like Milady?
Milady and Aurora Aurora's terms of endearment.
Malin.
Oh man. What's Tom Skerritt doing in this movie? What is going on in this movie, and why am I supposed to care about?
Don't you love how Daryl Hannah rolls into town? Like, she's kind of the catalyst for all the activity. Like, she is she's like the newbie that they just fold into this insipid charade.
And poor Sam Shepard, who's just like probably needed money to write a play. And it's like, yeah, I'll be in 4 scenes in Steel Magnolia.
Definitely. He was part of the theater circuit, and they're like, hey, dude, we sold this play for a bunch of money to this movie studio. They're going to make a movie with movie stars. Can you be in it? We kind of told them you'd do it.
Also, can we talk about that god awful short hair they put on Julia Roberts?
It's bad.
I know, it's bad.
It's a terrible wig.
It's like her aging too. Like, you won't see any You know, because you've never seen a still from that movie that features that haircut. Like, there's no trace. Have you ever Googled Steel Magnolias and come across Julia Roberts?
Oh, it's so bad.
They buried that. You have to get the 4K now.
So at one point, her kidney surgery fails and she goes into a coma. Just like she's in a coma all of a sudden. And then the hospital scenes are so dumb. And then all of a sudden...
Grind. They're so
They're
beautiful.
so
that
bad.
sequence is so good. It's so good.
No, they're so bad.
The only good scene of that movie is Sally Field in the graveyard, and I will give her that. That scene's phenomenal. The hospital stuff is so insanely stupid, and then they're just like, meh, pull the plug. She's dead. Who gives a shit? And then Sally Field says the line, sometimes you just gotta be happy, though. And it's like, excuse me, what is going on in this movie?
The hospital stuff is really cool though, because it's all nonverbal in a very talky story.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of stops talking, and it's like this montage. It doesn't feel like a montage. It feels like it's playing like in real time, but it's moving through time in a really cool way. And it visually just tells the whole story of her like being unsavable and the family deciding and letting go and saying goodbye. And Kim and I were weeping watching this movie.
God, dude.
Oh, it's so weepy.
It's very weepy.
I cry every time.
I shed one tear in the graveyard.
Oh, that's big.
But halfway through, I was like, dude, I gotta pause this movie and make myself a sandwich and smoke a bowl. This is the worst thing I have ever seen.
Have you seen Terms of Endearment, Sam?
No, but if it's better than Steel Magnolias, I'm in.
It's in the same. It is
It's better.
but it is in the same. It's adjacent.
This is a byproduct of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's success.
Yeah.
It just didn't ring. And again, my opinion of this movie does not matter in any way. It didn't ring genuine to me at all.
No.
Because it wasn't. It's not genuine.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be either, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's like dialed up to 1 billion and it's not fun. There's like nothing fun about it. Also, are you kidding me? Shirley MacLaine's character is like the worst human being in the world. You would have burnt
She's
her
so
house
awful.
to the ground and like buried her in her backyard.
Oh, she's
What are
my
you
favorite
talking
part.
about? She's got like 6 friends. It is absurd to think. I was just like, dude, I can't. Although the dude she hooks up with, like, what's his name? Herman or whatever?
Yeah. Hilarious.
That dude's awesome.
He looks like a cute little turtle.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Herman's tight.
Daryl Hannah's boyfriend, also Daniel Plainview's long lost half brother,
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that, Bobby?
No, I'm pausing to think about it. What are you talking about?
The guy who serves Daryl Hannah a cherry Coke at the wedding and that she ends up dating
Okay.
is Daniel Plainview's brother that shows up in town when he strikes oil. In There Will Be Blood.
Historically?
In There Will Be Blood.
No, and there will be blood.
The actor.
Yeah.
Oh, the actor. Oh, okay. They were like the character. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Also, Herman, his name is Owen in the movie. So I really think this is a disaster. Like, this is a true disaster.
This episode?
right now. Yes.
Oh yeah, this is a disaster.
No, it isn't.
This is the train wreck of episode.
What happened? Is it the wine?
No.
I think it's.
We haven't had nearly enough
I
wine.
think it's the movie.
Kim, you go. This is a disaster. Kim, you
Oh
go.
no, it's falling apart at the seams.
I knew his name was not Herman. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That movie.
Yes, this movie is unhinged and absolutely out of control.
It feels like a play. It feels like a
It does feel
little
like a play. It
theatrical. Everybody's a little bit of a caricature.
I just read that the play all took place in the beauty salon.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any male speaking parts in the play.
No.
I think this is a cinematic adaptation that ultimately failed the adaptation process, which was like, it was a hit because it wasn't this movie. And this plays better on stage because it's so large emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Do they still put on this play?
I have never seen a production ever.
We're going if we ever see it.
Do we think that's maybe slightly telling?
In the same way, we don't see Driving Miss Daisy productions anymore. You know, like, not to say like it's dated, but it's dated.
It is.
This was theater at the time, and they oddly saw it being bankable. So they'd pick up, like in the way you'd pick up a comic book or the best-selling novel, like people picked up Broadway plays.
It was put on Broadway in 2005, the last time it was out.
Oh, wow. Okay, bring it back.
We're going to Broadway, people.
My God.
This movie is directed by Herbert Ross, and his filmography includes Footloose,
Yep.
Pennies from Heaven,
I love Pennies from Heaven.
The Goodbye Girl,
I love Goodbye Girl.
Oh, I hate Neil Simon. Oh.
and Bobby, he directed The Turning Point.
I know. That's why I was like, thanks for bringing him back.
That was Bobby's first wish, I believe.
Kurt, did you grow up watching this movie? Like, did you watch it with your mom?
No, I don't know if I'd ever seen it. I think maybe I had seen it, but I did not remember it. So no, there's not like nostalgia value.
Oh, funny. Okay, because I thought I was coming at it as the only one who hadn't seen it.
Kurt just happened to watch it and love it.
Exactly. I didn't really know. I knew someone was going to die, but
Who did you think? A murder?
I thought Sally Field was going to die giving the kidney to Julia.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Can I tell you that there was a moment in my head during this movie where I'm like, isn't there a scene where somebody's like, is that my daughter in there? And I was like, oh, that's Mystic River.
Yeah.
You thought that was going to be in Steel Magnolias?
That's
I
really
just thought,
funny.
like, isn't there like a really dramatic
Sean Penn
scene?
just kicks the door in out of nowhere.
You might be conflating it with terms of endearment, losing her shit in a hospital.
Oh, but that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of, where she's like, she's losing it. But it was just
Sean Penn.
This is a disaster.
I know.
If Sean Penn's character from Mystic River was in this movie, that would be nuts.
Oh no!
Oh, Kim, you gotta.
Oh wow!
We need you.
Is that
This is
my daughter in there?
You gotta get us back on the rails here.
Oh
This is
God! Okay.
a disaster.
It's gonna be the best listened episode. Mark my words.
Herbert Ross allegedly was like a real nightmare on this movie.
I was reading about that last night after I watched the movie, and it's just that's what, like, part of the bummer of it about it was. I was like, oh, he was like awful to everybody on set. It's such a, I mean, to Bobby, your point, it is such a staple in like the chick flick genre. And maybe I don't know enough about that genre, but are like all of them normally directed and written by dudes?
Oh, totally. Well,
A good portion, other than
but there's a
Nora
shift with like
Ephron.
Yeah.
Nora Ephron
Nancy Myers.
or but that's not, I would say, a chick flick in this like 80s terms of endearment. I feel like the weepiness is not Nora Ephron or
Yeah. This felt like a soap opera.
yes, like multi-generational women, not romantic comedy.
No.
Whereas Nora Ephron is like romantic comedy. Like all those other movies are romantic comedy.
Like the way that plays are written, emotions play so much. They play so loud on stage. And in this movie, I didn't find like the filmmaking style interesting enough or the characters interesting enough because it's there's so much dialogue and it's constantly bouncing back and forth between people. And I don't mind that. I like it when we're not kind of force-fed relationships. It's like these people have all been in each other's lives for a long period of time and we're just picking up one day in their life.
But imagine watching all this just on stage in a parlor. It's not so packed with people talking across so much time and space in the way this movie is.
Yeah. Or like Tom Skerritt shooting a gun into a tree, like to make crows leave. It's just like little stuff like that.
Exactly. You have to make it cinematic.
And I didn't feel like this was in any way.
No, which is also why whoever brought up the medical stuff or whatever's taking place in the hospital, in terms of storytelling, like you have to do it differently on film. And this was their solution to probably fill a traditional theatrical 3-act structure that you could have just picked up, after the intermission or whatever. Instead, you had to like visually represent this and they didn't have dialogue. Like they couldn't stage it. So they just like faked it with just images and stuff. And it kind of feels out of place with the rest of it.
Truly. I will say that Dolly Parton, oh man.
phenomenal.
She was my favorite part of the movie.
She slides in so well. She's so likable everywhere, all the time.
She's the best.
Yeah.
It definitely, feels dated for sure, but I guess I just was on board for that, I felt like I knew what I was signing up for, and I did think that, as kind of manipulative as it is, like, it got me.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as it had me right where it wanted me.
What were the benefits of the 4K?
I mean, Sony's always just like visually knocking it out of the park, and it's just a beautiful transfer, like I assume from the camera negative. The special features are all legacy, I think, from the DVD, honestly, like from 2001.
That's why I didn't upgrade.
Yeah. Herbert Ross's commentary track does not allude to the fact that he was a dick on set.
Well, that's weird.
He makes it seem like everybody had a very good time, and he is a big fan of all these actresses. I'm curious, Bobby, if this was on the DVD or if you're familiar with this, but one of the special features on this 4K is the pilot episode for a television series, Steel Magnolias, that was not picked up, but they included the entire pilot as a special feature on here.
No, something tells me this is an exclusive.
Is it different actresses?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't get all those actresses for a network television show? What?
It's, I watched the first 5 minutes and we'll leave it at that.
Suddenly I might order this film on 4K because I'm
We got you.
Gotta see it.
Wow, what a curveball. Okay.
All right, well, this has been...
But moms,
we love you.
This one was for you, and we're sorry.
We're sorry.
I tried. I really did.
It really went off the rails.
We've let you all down.
If anybody's still listening to this and you're a fan of Steel Magnolias, the 4K comes highly recommended by myself. Okay, here we are, ready to put some wishes out into the physical media universe. Everybody ready to wish for something that does not exist yet?
Ooh, baby. I wish.
I'm going to cheat a little bit and pick TV. I wish for The Simpsons on Blu-ray. Seasons of The Simpsons.
I wish for 9 to 5 on Blu-ray or 4K.
I wish for Two Women by Desika on anything upgraded. I wish.
We were just talking about 9 to 5. I don't think I've ever seen that, Sam.
Okay, so that's like
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Dolly, baby.
an
So good.
on-brand wish for the episode. This is like, I would, again, not trying to come at Steel Magnolia super hard, but this is the Dolly movie I would have preferred to do. I think it's a lot more fun. I think it's a more enjoyable watch. And I don't just mean that because Steel Magnolia is a little bit more dramatic than this. This is just like a really fun romp of a movie.
It's musical.
Who directed 9 to 5?
Colin Higgins, who I don't really know. I have it pulled up here on IMDb. But yeah, it's Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton.
I think all of them are utilized better.
Yeah.
They work so well together and the movie complements them as like movie actors.
Oh, apparently Colin Higgins wrote Harold and Maude.
Oh, cool. Harold and Maude, also shot by John Alonzo.
Oh, wow. But yeah, I think it's a little bit more of a fun movie, and Twilight Time apparently put it out eons ago, and it's like going for like $166 now. So I'd love a new Blu-ray or 4K of 9 to 5.
Damn. Does that seem like a Criterion possibility?
I think so.
I think it's not, out of their realm by any means.
It'll be interesting how they work with Fox moving forward.
Maybe Jim Cameron will step in and restore it for him.
Yeah, help us, Jim. De-age them.
Please digitally, AI upscale 9 to 5 for us all, please, Big Jim.
I chose The Simpsons.
I know it's never been released on Blu-ray, but every DVD set has been released individually.
Yes. And again, this is Fox stuff. It's all available on Disney Plus, and I feel like that might be why we're never going to get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I know.
I had been subscribing for a long time to Disney Plus, only for The Simpsons. And at a certain point, I was like, okay, I just want to own these because I'm only watching like 10 of the seasons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked into purchasing them on iTunes, but they're in the wrong aspect ratio. They're cropped.
That's right. That was a big controversy.
Well, it was controversial when it was premiered on Disney Plus because they had done it that way, but to their credit, they listened to the people and immediately made the 4:3, original versions available. So you can choose on Disney Plus which aspect ratio you want to watch it in, but you're not able to download for purchase the 4:3 versions on iTunes.
They're all widescreen?
They're all cropped to be widescreen.
Oof.
So you're losing.
Interesting.
If you know of a way to get HD versions of The Simpsons, if someone does that on maybe Amazon, I don't know. But iTunes let me down. So here's hoping for The Simpsons.
Bobby, what did you wish for?
Yeah, it's a movie called Two Women. It came out in 1961, and it's with Italian dish, what's her name? Sophia Loren.
Oh, yeah.
And she won Best Actress for it. And it was the first foreign language performance to win an Oscar. And it was Vittorio De Sica, who is a big neo-realist Italian director.
Bicycle Thief,
Umberto D. And he made this movie, Two Women, that has an interesting history because it's in public domain, I think. So no one has picked up the task of restoring it officially.
Oh.
So you can get a lot of bootleg copies of it, but I would love a restoration.
Are there DVDs of it or no?
There are, but I've watched one and it's such poor quality.
Yeah.
It was the best version I could find released in this country. So I don't know where the film lingers or in what state it is in, but I call for an international movement to resurrect it and honor Sophia Loren properly.
Okay, that is it for a very interesting episode of Physical Therapy. Thank you for listening. If you're still here, a big thank you to Patrick Laban for our music, Kimberly for producing, Sam for watching Steel Magnolias in full, and Bobby for being back. Bobby, we missed you last week.
We missed you.
Oh, stop it. Thank you. I missed you guys.
We will be back next week with a little film called Mean Girls.
The Meanest Girls. Is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter in there?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.